Hello everybody. Today I want to share a little bit about my real life. Since last Friday, at the time of this upload at least, I am a master's doctor, or at least that's what the translation says. I completed my master's degree in IT stuff, let's put it that way. So I thought, which better Pokemon to play Emerald with than a supercomputer, or at least a piece of it. I mean, he's a pseudo-legendary. He can't be that bad, right? Yeah, that was a bad idea. Beldum's stats are decent. 80 defense is pretty good. Total 300 is not bad for a first stage, but unfortunately its move pool is very bad. It only gets takedown. He can't learn any other moves, not via level up or TMs or anything like that. The first gym Roxanne is not that bad. I level up all the way to level 20 and I use struggle because struggle in this generation is considered a normal type but is not affected by other types, so it's neutral against everything. It still gets the boosts from the silk scarf, and I'll use that item a lot in the game. Overall, the first gym was not that bad. I had to reset a couple of times, but pretty easy. After we get the stone badge and the TM, we do the Pico side quest as usual, and I decided to take on May, the optional fight against her. She is pretty easy. All of her Pokémons go down in one hit, because at this point in time, takedown is not a bad move. The second gym leader is a fighting type, and it's slightly harder than the first gym, but not that much harder. We are slightly overleveled, and thankfully, with a couple of good hits from takedown and a crit, we get through the gym without having to reset. After Brawly is defeated, we can make our way to Slateport, and here the fight against the double Team Aqua Grant is easy, but unfortunately Takedown makes contact, so all of the Carvanas and Sharpedo that we will fight in the game will deal some more damage to us because of Rough Skin. Thankfully, this will not matter in the playthrough. After we save this captain, we have to fight May on the bridge. Unfortunately, I forgot to record her fight. I was too busy watching Stranger Things season 4. She's not that hard for what I remember. I had to reset a couple of times because I had to win a speed tie against the Combusken. Wattson, as usual, he's hard. I had to grind quite a bit, but at level 40 we can fight him without many problems. It's close, but not that hard. Had to reset just a couple of times at level 40. After he is defeated and we do some exploration, we end up at the Meteorfall Cave, where we meet Team Aqua and Team Magma, arguing as usual. We then make our way to the mountain to stop Maxi from activating the volcano. His team is not very impressive, but it still makes me reset a couple of times because of the misses from takedown and the fact that his Pokémons deal some decent damage if they want to. I live with just 8 HP, but thankfully this time I can get through. Next up is the gym fight against Flannery, and she is quite hard, as you might imagine, since she has the type advantage. In particular, the Torkoal can one-shot me with overheat every time. Thankfully, this time the Camerupt wastes its turns by setting up Sunny Day and then dies, and the Torkoal, thankfully, goes down to one crit. I for sure would have died there unless he missed the overheat. I had to reset a few times. After she is defeated, we can make our way back to our father, where we have to fight him for the normal type badge. His team is not that scary except for the slacking because it has counter. I can't waste the turn where he uses counter, so I have to hope that he uses another move. This time, after I use takedown, he goes for a yawn, which is good and bad because I fall asleep and then he, for some reason, decides to spam yawn until I wake up and take him out. The Linoon uses belly drum, which leaves him low enough that where I can finish him with takedown and leave on 3 HP. After he is defeated, we clear the Weather Institute, that's pretty easy. And immediately after that, we have to fight May for the last time, at least the first fights. It's not that bad because Combusken, for some reason, decides to go for double kick, so he does not do too much damage to us, and we can take out the rest of her team with ease. After she is defeated, we have to fight Winona Ryder, and she is surprisingly hard. I had to reset quite a lot of times because her Altaria does very good damage with Earthquake, and her Skarmory can stall me out and heal up with the potions. This time, fortunately, the Altaria does not go for Dragon Dance, so I can take him out without taking too much damage. This Skarmory, since it is a steel type, it resists our takedowns and can deal some damage with its steel type moves. This time, thankfully, she does not go for a potion, she was just out of range, so I can finish the fight having quite a bit of HP left. After this gym is down, we have to make our way to the tower, where we receive the magma emblem and can enter the magma hideout. Here we have to fight Mexi after he resurrects Groudon. His team is stronger than the first time we fought him, and it shows because I have to reset quite a few times. This time, thankfully, the Mightyena goes for a Swagger, which increases our attack, and we don't hit ourselves too much and can one-shot every other Pokémon. The Crobat flinches us, but thankfully we live with 17 HP. After he is defeated, we have to fight Tate and Liza, and as usual they are a nightmare. This time I have to level up all the way to 96 using rare candies. I start the fight with 2 PP on takedown, one for the Xatu and one for the Claydol. Once they are both down, I have to pray that Struggle hits the Soul Rock 2 times, otherwise I die to Flamethrower. I also lose if Flamethrower crits or burns me, and I also lose if Lunaton hits Hypnosis. Thankfully, this time none of it happens, and I can finish the fight with a bit of HP left. After they are defeated, I can make my way to the double fight with Steven. This fight might seem hard, considering the history against Maxi, but it turns out that it is quite easy. I miss my first takedown, and my Tiena swaggers me. Like the last fight against Maxi, Swagger is actually good for us, because with our increased attack, we can one-shot all of their Pokémon. And with that, and the Metang doing some decent damage with Psychic, we can slowly take out all of their Pokémon. Thankfully, the enemies mostly focus on Metang, so I have enough HP left to take down the Golbat, the Mightyena, and all of the other Pokémon. We finish the fight with one last takedown, and we are through. After that, we can grab Dive and go where Kyogre is and fight Archie. His team is similar to Max's, but this time, because we are way overleveled, he is very easy. All of his Pokémons go down in one takedown, and I finish the fight having more than half HP left over. Once he is defeated, he wakes up Kyogre anyway, and he seems pretty happy about it until Team Magma arrives and both teams realize that they screwed up and that the weather is a mess. Steven asks us to join him in Sultopolis and we do the usual stuff. We wake up Rayquaza and he stops the two legendaries fighting in an epic cutscene. Juan is not that bad, but not very easy. Most of his team goes down in one takedown, and I take quite a bit of damage because his team is decently tanky. So I arrive at the Kingdra with just over half HP left. Unfortunately, he leaves a hit, and he spams potions. I had to reset a couple of times because I did not have enough HP left at this point, but thankfully this time I can just barely manage to get through. After he is defeated, we get the badge and we can use Waterfall to access Victory Road. Here we fight Wally, and I'm pretty confident that I can take down his team with ease, so I don't even bother using the rare candies yet. And I was right, and most of his team is a one-shot, except for the Magneton, who does a little bit of damage with Thunderbolt, but nothing serious. After he is defeated, I have to fight the Elite Four. I use most of the BP on takedown until I have 5 or 6 left, so I know that I can one-shot every one of Sidney's Pokemon, and once I do that, I am left with 1 or 0 PP. This time I miss a takedown, so I have to fight the Absol using a struggle. It's not optimal, but it doesn't really matter. He does not do much damage and we can get through. Now that I have struggle, I can actually fight Phoebe, because takedown, since it's normal type, does not hit her ghost types. This fight is quite hard because I don't have that much HP to spare. I have a silk scarf equipped because I'm pretty sure that it affects the damage from struggle. Thankfully, the first bayonet wastes its turn, and so does the Seblai, and I get a lucky crit against the last bayonet and live on just 3 HP. That was very lucky. I had to reset quite a few times. Glacia may seem easier, but is actually extremely hard. I had to get a crit against the first Celio and the Wall Rain, otherwise they set up hail and do a lot of damage. The two Glalis are a damage roll, and for the last Celio I also need to get a crit, otherwise she spams hyper potions and I don't have enough HP left. I had to reset way too many times to get this lucky. After Glacia, it's Drake time, and unfortunately, here is where I have to break a rule. While it's technically possible to win this fight, I would need to get a crit against every single Pokemon, and also I would need to get a dodge from the Lux Incense against the Salamence. I decided to allow the use of healing items in battle. Otherwise, I would still be here in 100 years because the odds are extremely against us. I tried grabbing the suit shell or whatever it's called, but it does not heal enough because it heals based on the amount of damage that you do, and it's not strong enough to sustain us. Also, I cheated in a leftovers, and with that item I also am not able to defeat this Elite Four. You can get a legitimate leftovers if you have a Pokemon with pickup at level 81, but that's a big waste of time because even with that I can't really win. The champion is more or less the same story. His Pokemons have way too much HP, and just the recoil from takedown or struggle adds up to about 248 HP. So there is no way for me to win this fight without using the healing held items. But even with those, you would need to get a crit against every single Pokemon, otherwise they do too much damage against you and you just die. So I allowed for the use of healing items on this fight too, and with those we can easily get through the fight. Beldum has good defense, so the enemy Pokemons don't do crazy amounts of damage against us, and we have time to use Hyper Potions or full restores to heal up. If I used a Beldum with max IVs and I also EV train him to have like 252 EVs in HP, maybe this would be possible by using leftovers or even maybe Soul Shell, but I don't like setting EVs, so this is what I could do. This playthrough was extremely hard, and I'm surprised it was this bad. Anyway, thank you for watching the video. I hope you liked it. Remember to like, subscribe, write a comment if you have suggestions, and all that kind of stuff. See you in the next video.